Welcome to SciTech Culture with Steve Kern and Ben Warner, where we examine science, technology and culture in the 21st century. Visit our website at scitechculture.com. Hello everyone and welcome to SciTech Culture. My name is Ben Warner and I'm joined once again by my good friend and colleague Steve Kern to talk about the passing of Stephen Hawking, which is a sad day for science. And, he was obviously a giant that was uniquely a cultural icon at the same time, I would say. Most people would know who he was, and you wouldn't say that about most theoretical physicists, I would say.
What a marvelous man he was. And, he was a man, he was a scientist, and he was also very aware of his responsibility as a human. So what a great guy.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the most remarkable things about him was that he was diagnosed with ALS way back in 1963, and that doesn't have a good sort of long-term outcome in most cases, but he managed to outlive his prognosis by half a century, which it was kind of extraordinary. He would, I'm paraphrasing, but I remember reading a joke where he would say, at least I picked a field where I didn't need to rely on my body. So, and it was obviously a very debilitating disease, but it became part of his persona in a way. It was that in itself became an icon, him in the chair with the voice, and everyone knew instantly who he was. But of all the things that, the amazing things that he's done science-wise, it's almost, I don't know if overlooked is probably too strong a word, but it can't be understated just how extraordinary it is that he managed to survive as long as he did.
Oh, look, it's a real testimony to the power of the mind, I think, that he did survive. Interestingly, university professors statistically live longer than most other people, and that's generally attributed to the fact that they work with their mind and they have a purpose, and that purpose doesn't necessarily end when their job ends. They can continue to engage and explore their area of interest. And, I think Stephen Hawking has gone to show, the power of the mind. If good old Arnie represents the power of the body, the physical force, well, Stephen Hawking did it with the mind. And he went on to show that really his body was very much secondary. He could still lead a fulfilling life. He could still be funny and still obviously be very thoughtful and a real thought leader, not just in his field at a very high technical level, but also the fact that he communicated those thoughts very easily with the public. And he's also, famous for engaging the public with what he sees as really important issues of our future.
I think that was one of the most important things that he did, aside from the fact of, the work itself. It was the manner of communicating it to the public in a way that they could digest, because, his field, can be very technical, shall we say, and get into areas that are almost impossible to believe, I would say, by the general public. You try and explain something like relativity, or even the way, like his work there, or even when he's explaining how you travel at light speed away from Earth, and the way time works across those things, and how you can come back not really aged, and he was, and everyone else had aged, and he was really good at explaining a lot of that sort of stuff, but in a way that was easy to sort of understand. Because if you think about a lot of the ideas in theoretical physics, it almost is unbelievable, because it doesn't really gel with our day-to-day sensory experience of what we see around us. But I think the thing that was important from his people like him as well is that they shed light on just how, nutty the universe is, really. If you really stop and have a look at what's really going on, it's way different than what we think.
Well, there's definitely a sense of humour in the universe, and there was a sense of humour in Stephen Hawking. My favourite, explanation for time travel of his, or time travel anecdote of his, was in 2009 when he threw the party and no time travelers came, which was very disappointing. Maybe they'll get there in the future. I don't know. But, he put on a nice spread.
Yeah.
Didn't tell anyone until after the event.
Yeah, exactly. I was just having a look at there was mentioned in a second article. I was looking at this, but there was a couple of other things that it's just things like black holes aren't completely black. That some of the things that he worked on, there may not be any black holes at all that he proposed in an earlier paper, or black holes store information as a hologram. That was a bit of an odd one that was there, but
that one's led to the premise that our world may be just a hologram, that we're acting out information that's being compressed in a black hole. I don't even know what to make of that.
Oh, we'll just go with the Matrix solution with that one. We're all plugged in somewhere. His first big discovery being that the universe started as a singularity, being another one. I guess another thing to point out with this is it sort of highlights, and I guess this is why he made such an important contribution, because he made it so accessible, is that this type of work is important. It's about understanding why we're here the way we are, and because it's such a big field with so much more information to find out and more discoveries to be made, and it's sort of like I guess maybe there is an end point, but we're probably never going to see it anytime soon in terms of the amount of knowledge we'd need to sort of really understand everything. And having someone like him do that was really beneficial for all of us, and that's where the loss, I guess, of him passing will be greatly felt.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely right. Not only was he a giant in terms of his ideas, and obviously then having the language to be able to prove those ideas in formula and really abstract concepts, but the world's sadly lacking people like him today who really step forward and can cut through the noise. And once again, we know he'd done that because he was a remarkable man. There are a lot of very, very good physicists out there doing a lot of great work. I think it's maybe he's last of those classic physics type people like an Einstein that we can really, get excited about. I don't know who the next hero will be. I mean, there's Neil Tyson deGrasse, but I don't know if he'll ever quite cut through in the way that someone like Stephen Hawking did.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, Steve, we might wrap it up there. And my final thought on that is I might have to just boot up that episode of Star Trek he was in, playing the poker game, and I think it they captured his sense of humor in that show as well, and it looked like he had a lot of fun doing it.
Yeah, I think he did. That's one of my favourite Star Treks, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so don't forget our website, SciTechCulture.com. You can get all of our links and content there. Subscribe to our channels, Vimeo, YouTube. You can watch all of our content, and hopefully you'll enjoy the various bits and pieces we've got online at that website. All right, so that's it for this episode. We'll catch you next time.